Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to York City. There's two teams that are unbeaten. Guess who we play today? That's right, it's Arsenal. They're in third though, 4 points behind us. We lose today and this gets a very interesting three-way fight potentially. See you after the intro. Yeah, I say three-way because obviously Manchester City still 3 points behind us as well. Their only loss of the season coming to us in the previous episode. Looking at the Premier Division, 10 games in though, there's a actually kind of surprising name at the top of that goals list, and that's Virgil Carpentier, who scored, I think, either 5 or 6 the entirety of last season, already beaten it this season. In the top 3 players average rating-wise, and Cantoro in the assists still, as he was last year. At least that's consistent. Once again this year, sort of quietly going on about his business as he did last year without a lot of fanfare. So here's some fanfare, Thomas. I'm not going to lie, in my brain there, I did weigh up whether or not I should try and make a trumpet noise. I decided against it. But yeah, 6 goals for Virgil last year in 21 starts, 16 sub appearances. I did actually forget he was the free transfer. He got 17 and 32 starts in the first year for us, and he's already on 11 goals in total in 11 starts this year. Keep it up, Virgil. Keep it up, mate. And just in case you're wondering, that's a little bit what he looks like these days. Free transfer. Gotta love it when these superstar players at French clubs just decide they were going to leave at the end of their contracts because their clubs can't afford to renew their contracts. It happened with this guy as well. I mentioned him in the transfer episode, Emmanuel Hatton. He went to Barcelona on a free, exactly the same situation. What was his big con? It was important matches. That was his big con. It wasn't injuries or anything like that. That's why I didn't end up going for him. I think I actually did go for him, but of course I was never going to be playing him because of that, so it was purely for profit reasons if I was going to do it. So I didn't want to have him on a massive wage. That's why I lost out on him. But since we last met, and I did just look at the schedule before I started this recording, I genuinely didn't realise I'd won every single game since we last met. Carabao Cup wins against Shrewsbury and Millwall has been a fairly easy run, even though we are maxing out the stadium even against these opponents. It's a problem. Remind myself never to do another York save because of that reason. I'm going to make sure I'm going to do some research on my next one and make sure wherever I go for the next Road to Glory save, they've got enough space to expand their stadium or build a new one. Because that's bothering me. Premier Division wins against Wolves, Norwich and Huddersfield, along with Brighton most recently. I'm going to highlight the Brighton one. Eagle Eye viewers may have spotted where Brighton were in the table. That's right, bottom with 1 point. They took the lead twice. Admittedly, first time was a penalty. They have Amara Mbalo. We did spot that in the transfer episode. Actually, he's on loan from Everton. Don't know why. But he scored. Carpentier with a hat-trick there, though, along with Bellingham. A little bit of rotation in that match. It was shortly after the PSG match, which we won 3-1. Dortmund dispatched 1-0 at Dortmund. Azarta in the 3rd minute. He's got a couple of goals this year from corners. Welcome back, Emery Azarta, in that front. Last year, I kind of slacked on the corner front. Didn't realise we were no longer targeting you. This year, I fixed that. We're definitely targeting Azarta, and he scored a couple already. The one thing I will say about this PSG match is you'll look at a certain player right now, the player of the match, Bradley Saxton. There were 4 or 5 pretty much identical highlights, which are all Saxton long throws. The first goal was a result of a Saxton long throw. There were 2 disallowed goals from exactly the same situation, along with 1 sensational save, all from exactly the same starting point. Saxton throwing it long into the box. They could not deal with that. 5 chances created, all of them I think pretty much were those things. They just couldn't handle it. They just could not handle it. I've just seen Gonzalez on a 6.4. He did miss a penalty in one of these games. I think that would appear on this list, so I don't think it was this match. He did miss a penalty at some point during one of these games. I forget which one it was. 3-3-1s in a row. Just noticed that. Anyway, Arsenal next though, they are in 3rd, and they do have Ariel Castillo, of course. Don't know why I pronounced his first name like that. Arsenal manager Chris Wilder, just for those that may have not known that already. We are at home, so we will not be deploying the more defensive formation. Ivan Seri, weirdly, only regarded 3 stars. Now, I think this is because of other players playing off. Like, if we switch him up to something he's actually good at, you can see he's actually fine. It's really weird because obviously the way that roles work, obviously bear in mind that Seri does have specific instructions on him, which affect the way he actually goes about those roles. They're not just the box standard roles to start with. For instance, he's told to go a little bit further forward when you get the ball. Vidarson stays back. He's the deep line playmaker. 1 each, 1 in. There we are. Problem solved. Fiore at right back's having exactly the same start of the season he had last year, pretty much. As in, not great. We do have a little bit of an injury crisis. A few injuries. James Grimes got injured on international duty. Rick and Jamie Harvey most recently. And Yuchenko's just coming back as well. Players that don't start, but just a little bit of an injury crisis. The lineup for this match against Arsenal will be Christian in goal, Saxton, who signed a new contract, Moena, Azata, Fiore, Vidarson, Seri, Carpentier and Cantoro, Godoy and Gonzalez. I've just realised when we play these four up front, there's alliteration on those two roles there. Completely unintentional, but I love it all the same. Just a quick bit of praise, of course, on Gonzalez as well. He's continued scoring when he's not missing penalties. Just a quick update on Leeds as well. They've actually not won a match since we last played a game on an episode. 2 more draws and 2 losses eventually, so they are now sort of comfortably mid-table. Norwich, though, West Brom, again, they're back, seemingly. Now, someone went close there, didn't actually see who it was. But yeah, Norwich started quite well. Just lost to us recently and lost to Tottenham recently as well, most importantly, in terms of that fight there. Moena on the edge of the box. Vidarson's there, goes, oh, that lovely move. That should have been a goal. Maritz, well, he's got out the old lasso, hasn't he? Someone was offside, though. Seri whips in a free kick. Azata's there, not quite. I've just noticed the Arsenal formation. Chris Wilder, employing the Sheffield United tactic wherever he goes. Do they have any wingers? He is playing Sancho as a striker. Poor Jadon Sancho, he can't catch a break. He spent 7 years out of the England side because Chris Wilder didn't play wingers in his England team. And now he's being forced to play striker at Arsenal because Chris Wilder doesn't play wingers in his Arsenal side. I mean, it's 0-0 half-time, so I'm assertively saying I'm not pleased. Danny Olmo stood over a free kick. I'm worried about this one. Christian saves. Oh my God, there was 2 brilliant saves. Third one was a bit of a rebound, and it's a super lucky one of that. Oh, hello. He's being reviewed. Is Reece James? Is it? Oh, he's offside in the first. Oh, it's the first shot. But, I mean, Christian didn't know that. The follow-up shot was a sensational save. Saxton with a long throw. I've seen many of these in recent weeks. It's not gone anywhere, but Seri's got the ball. Cantoro Azata in an odd place. Ariel Castillo has given away a penalty. Of course, it had to be. Still playing for us, apparently. Gonzalez, don't miss this one, mate. Thank you. Thank you. You can say, miss that one and you're off penalties forever. Castillo gave away a penalty. Gonzalez converts, runs up, smashes it left-hand side, sends the goalkeeper completely wrong. Merritt must be about 35, 36 now. He's been Arsenal goalie for a while. Contract up at the end of the year, not valued a lot. Speaking of goalkeepers, there's a situation happening at PSG, which we will cover just before that match. Castillo, though, with a short throw, they've not learned how to use long. I don't think Castillo was actually that good at long throws. It was Saxton. Saxton was the one that was brilliant at long throws. I know we had a bit of a dilemma in a recent episode whether it was Saxton or Kovalev. It is definitely Saxton, obviously. Moena, Vidarson back to Saxton, lumps it forward to Carpentier. I've just realised I've set these 2 games up so that Kovalev plays the second one against PSG. Why have I done that when I know PSG cannot deal with Saxton's long throws? Might see if Saxton's still alright to play the PSG one. Anyway, Arsenal coming forward now. Sancho's going to get onto this. Playing striker. He's missed. Not by far, though. I was going to get a little bit mocking there, but he didn't miss by much. Godoy is a question mark this year. With the flexibility we have in our entire squad, Ramirez comes on, pushes Carpentier forward. And actually, it's 1-0. It's not comfortable, but we're going to just look at the bench situation. Saxton, I don't think actually will be fine. He's on 69% for this match. I'm not even certain Azata will be fine, but we'll play him through. I'm going to bring Broyle on as well. Broyle scored on his debut a few matches ago. I think it might have been the Millwall game, actually. Or the Shrewsbury match. It was definitely a cup match. I was rotating. Kovalev, though, finds Broyle in the middle. Azata, Fiore, Cantoro, Ramirez on this left-hand side. But it is a day of reunions. Oh, Ramirez has scored. For some reason, I didn't register immediately. But it is a day of reunions, of course. Castillo comes back to the York City Stadium. Meanwhile, next match, Moena and Broyle will be returning to Paris for the first time since they left in the summer. Ramirez, great finish. It's got to be. I mean, I'm not quite sure what Merritt does there because he sort of ends up punching it into the net. Going in anyway, so it's not an own goal. But 2-0, and that just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable at the end of this match. I've been on attacking the entire game. 34 minutes of injury time to go, so I'm not going to come off it. Petraglia just smashes one person, goes over with a rebound. And the final act of the game is Castillo getting booked. We're unbeaten in 30 matches. Sorry, this has completely skipped me by. But Christian's 150th league appearance, Saxton's 200th. Couple of milestones there for the lads. And yeah, actually, I did sort of see the stats throughout that match without really commenting on them. We were far better. 8 straight in the league as well. Just let them do all that. I did the pre-match. I'm not doing both of them. PSG in 2 days' time. It's away from home, of course, as well, so there's travel involved. And yeah, I don't think Saxton's starting, sadly. I think I just noticed Liverpool lost to Huddersfield. Actually, Brighton just won as well, didn't they? Yes, they did. It's an own goal. So beating Arsenal obviously brings out the gap on them and leaves us the only unbeaten side. I wonder, we've won the Premier League 3 times in a row. This is our swan song season. Do we try to go invincible? I think we do at this point. We've played 11 games, won 10, drawn 1. I think we try and go invincible. That'll be the way to cap this off. There is still something to go for here. Good luck, Valencia. Such a top priority, they brought me in the news twice. And Norwich smashed Chelsea as well for good measure. So that takes them up to 4th completely on merit as well. No one can leapfrog them with the game in hand. Norwich did get relegated at one point in this save and then got re-promoted straight away. And then since then, just quietly been going very solid in the mid-table. Just want to check, did they get taken over recently again? No, not very recently. So just been building on getting great players in and selling them on. Apparently there's another international break coming up soon. I think it must be after the Leeds game. Not that you care, nothing England-wise happens for this save. Speaking of the end of the save, just to know what happened at the end, I will resign from both jobs and sim forward a little bit to see how York do. There's a Yorkshire derby about to happen, but that's not going to be the talking point of the day. What the bloody hell were Watford doing? I want to see if these are double yellows. Okay, 2 are double yellows, 1 was a straight. What were they doing? One thing I do like about Watford right now is, I mean, he's not a great player, but I appreciate the fact they're continuing the trend of signing defenders with only one name, because this is where Edgar went. What happened to Edgar then? Because he's not in that squad. Oh yes, he moved on to Sunderland. I remember now. That was quite a long while ago. God, Edgar's 31. Well, that makes me feel ancient. I'd take that. I mean, I take it back. The Yorkshire derby might be the talking point of the day after all. Leeds were 2-0 up, and then Janino just snapped. Sometimes the going-ons elsewhere end up eclipsing what's going on in your own save. Huh. Beat PSG and we beat our own record for consecutive wins. What is this? Like year 14, 13, 14? And we've not beaten that? Because I presume that was early on. I presume that was season 1 or 2. Right, I will just say in this pre-match analysis for PSG, you look at their squad, it looks pretty dangerous. You've still got Mbappe at 33. We couldn't sign him. Sam Budak's there on loan from Tottenham. Don't know what's going on there. And yeah, their squad is pretty good. They've obviously replaced Moena with a pretty solid... Weirdly enough, actually, the player that I was sort of possibly considering instead of Moena. And I thought, now let's get Moena in. He's better. We've got the money. But if you go on PSG as a whole, you kind of see a problem. That is all of their first team squad. All of it. They don't even have enough bench players. And when you sort by wage, you realise why. Yeah, that's the main reason why we couldn't get Mbappe. He wanted less than that, admittedly, if he came to us. But because they've continually had to try and finance Mbappe, they've run out of money to buy, keep other players in there. So unless they sell a player, they can't bring in more. And nothing sums up more than buying Michael Elise, who, don't get me wrong, is decent. But yeah, they're essentially relying on youth players coming through. Neil Lennon, PSG manager, never fails to make me laugh. I mean, they're still dominating the league, don't get me wrong. They lost last year, but they've still had a good time of it in general. And Mbappe will obviously retire in a couple of years' time. But between then and now, I'm a little bit worried for PSG, actually. All right, Newcastle. I mean, they had a terrible start, but they've just won, I think, 5 in a row or 4 in a row. Yeah, they're unbeaten in 6, in fact. Newcastle adding to the potential challenging mix. Not for the title, of course, but Europe. I'm not going to inundate you about England stuff because it's not important anymore, but this annoys the hell out of me. Tipple form deserves England recall. The 29-year-old striker missed out on my last squad through injury. Yes, there's a reason why he wasn't in the squad. He was injured. You don't need to tell me about his form. He was going back in the squad anyway. I say that, but I did forget to put Sean Courage in the last international break squad because he was injured in the previous one. So actually, never mind. That reminders are helpful. I've just noticed how tough Genk's group is. Lazio and Porto. We've actually not lost to PSG. Now's the time for that to change, I imagine. Yeah, Zanta's a bit tired. And Rick is back. I'm looking at everyone else, though. Everyone else seems to be okay. Saxton's actually alright, so we'll leave Saxton there. We are away, actually. That is a good point. We are away at PSG. You know what? We didn't change it for Dortmund. We're not going to change it for PSG here. We might just go slightly less aggressive off the bat. So the lineup's exactly the same, except for Azanta for Rick. That's the only change. And I've clicked the button. We're going for it. Apparently, winning here will secure us progression. It's game week 4. How's that happened? Because the other two teams have drawn all of their games. Good job, guys. Godoy's there, and was that a Saxton throw? I'm pretty certain that was a Saxton throw. It's happening again. Gonzalez, he's offside. Maybe, probably. If they can stay onside when they do these throws, we might be in a better position. The first one's fine, obviously, from a throw-in. He actually wasn't far off. There was a defender on the far side. So it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was. But we've had 2 highlights, and they both started exactly the same way. This is what it was like in the home leg. The good news is we've got a highlight that hasn't started with the Saxton long throw. Also, Dortmund are winning a match. Yes, the problem is when it gets delivered in sort of the middle of the park as it was just then. Christian, mate, what have you done there? That's why having someone in the middle is a little bit more beneficial, because he just gets punted straight into Echo area in the middle and no one's there. And I'm not really sure who went to cover that. Was that Ramirez that went to cover it in the end? Oh, Christian. Oh, dear. Because really, it should have been someone like Vidarson. Anyway, they've got a chance at the back post. Dear, it's gone wrong there. It's gone a little bit wrong there. He's delighted. I mean, obviously, that's got nothing to do with the formation because it's a set piece. They're all back anyway. Mbappe wasted. I think Christian actually gets a hand on it. There's a slight. Yeah, it's a tackle goal. It's a tackle goal. It's a tackle goal. So I don't know if he went down as a shot. Saxton's involved at the beginning of this. Vidarson gets the loose ball, finds Seri. Carpentier is there. Vidarson. Saxton's run forward once more. Saxton, get it in. No, Carpentier, get it in. One of you get it in. Saxton. You know, fourth time's charm or whatever this is. Gonzalez has got one back. Double figures for Jonathan this year. It was a back heel. It was a back heel. Good word there, Bradley. Unnecessary flip. Sorry. That poor man's face. I don't know who that hit in the face right then. That was one of the most unfortunate rebounds in history. Smashes him in the face and lands at Carpentier's feet. Or Saxton, whoever that was. It changed hands down there so many times. I lost track of who was actually on the ball. I'm pretty certain it came off that man's face faster than it actually went on it. Saxton long throw. He's doing it on the wrong side of the pitch, but if he keeps being the start of these highlights, I'm just going to leave him doing it even on the wrong side of the pitch because this keeps happening. We're going to see it with lines, even though it's a throw-in, and he's the only one to touch the ball. Football Manager, you're right there, Football Manager. You do know the rules of throw-ins, just to be safe. I was this close to putting Yurchenko on the bench, and Cantoro's playing 6.4. So always when you need them most, but you don't put him on the bench. Now it's 2-2. Obregon on this far side. We're still only positive rather than attacking. Godinho finds Mbappe, who's sort of marshalled out relatively well, but still in the PSG possession. Godinho's in far too much space there. What have you done, defence? He's going to get to Obregon on the back post. It's well worked. Not the best finish. We'll demand a little bit more. Rick's got injured. That's terrible news. He's okay for the time being, although I'm really hoping that isn't going to punish me. That was too tame an effort for it to be the end of the highlight, I feel like. Christian will find Saxton on this left-hand side. Mwena's there. Finds Carpentier now. Lovely ball to Godoy there. Just went straight through three players. Godoy's going to hit it straight at the goalkeeper because why would you aim either side of him? That's what I don't get about the AI striking. Is why would you kick it straight at the goalkeeper? Welcome back to the side, Victor Vidal. I've got to take off the injury. I regret not putting Azarto on the bench now. Ivan Seri's on a 6.5 as well. Just noticed that one. Bellingham, on you come. We'll demand a little bit more as well, but all three changes. It's started with a Saxton throw, but I don't think this one's quite as impactful. Mwena. Why, Mwena? Why? Why would you do this to me? Thank you. Mbappe with a long free kick here. It's a bit of chaos. Christian's leapt on it though. Wasn't 100% sure that was going to be the entire highlight. There was a few sort of blocks and pinging around there. Wasn't sure if he was counting that. No, was the answer. Carpentier. Still Carpentier. He's passed it back to Parkinson. That's one of the worst passes I've ever seen in the history of Football Manager. And Buda's through again. It says PSG punish York on the counter-attack. It's not so much a counter-attack as a lapse in judgment. It's just, what? What are you doing, you cretins? And it's not like we've been second best in the entire game either. Right, so there's a corner. Carpentier's under it. Vidal, that'll have been the story. Oh, it's finally poised this group, irritatingly. Although I'm not best pleased. I did call it before the match, though, when I said they've not beaten us yet. I can't tell them they have to be in training tomorrow because it's a bloody European match. A quick note on Genk, by the way. There's a reason why I was interested in them. I've sent this guy on loan over there. He is having the time of his life. He started 9 games. He's had 4 player of the matches. Just a casualty of the foreign player limits. Really? Good enough to playing back up on the left-hand side as Yurchenko is on the right. Anyway, next time we see you will be the Borussia Dortmund final Champions League group game, along with the Liverpool game that precedes it. I'll see you for both of those. Until then, ta-ra.